Okay. Then we have box plot. So, box plot puts a box plot there. Okay. Box plot is really good to understand the distribution of data. Okay. So, there is a separate visualization called box plot in the show me. So, we will spend more time on that a little later. So, right now let us just quickly understand what these lines mean. So, here the width is width does not represent anything. Okay. So, you do not worry about the width. The only thing that we are interested in are these lines, this one and that one, and then the band in between. Okay. And then the band itself is divided into two different colors. Okay. So, now this middle band, okay, let us talk about that first. In a box plot, the middle box, this is our box. So, the box is made up of Q sub 1. Okay. So, that is your well, I call it lower hinge, which is the first quartile, all right, which is 33,776, right. Then that is your third quartile, that is your upper hinge, okay, 67,777. So, the box in the middle, okay, the height of that box is Q sub 1 at the bottom going up to Q sub 3 at the top. Okay. So, that is your middle box, and this difference is called interquartile range, IQR. Okay. And that has a function. Okay. So, IQR, so that is that. Okay. And then we have whiskers going out of the lower hinge and the upper hinge. These are called whiskers. So, the upper whisker and the lower whisker, okay, there are two ways of drawing these upper and the lower whiskers. Okay. Simple way is to go down to the minimum, okay, from the hinge, from the lower hinge to the minimum value. Okay. And then the upper side, the upper hinge to the maximum value. That is one method. It is a simple method where you have the box and then one whisker going to the maximum value from the top side and from the bottom side going to the minimum value. But obviously, that is not the case here, because there are values that are outside this line. So, which means this line does not represent the maximum, obviously, right. Now, another method is to go from the upper hinge and the lower hinge, okay, a factor of 1.5 times IQR, IQR being interquartile range.
So, why did you say it does not include the maximum right here?
Because this is made up of the hinge, the length of the hinge is 1.5 IQR. Okay, so that is the method that is used here. So, 1.5 IQR may sometimes be larger than the maximum, in which case the maximum will cover inside, but sometimes it may not. So, in which case there may be some points that fall outside, and anything that falls outside 1.5 IQR are generally outliers, could be, suspect outliers. So, that is the reason why you do not go all the way to the max, but go only to 1.5 IQR. Sometimes they have two bands, 1.5 IQR and then 3 IQR. So, you will have anything that falls outside 3 is extreme outlier, and anything that falls between 1.5 and 3 are just possible outliers. Okay. And then there are a couple of more things that we have to understand in the box plot. The box itself is divided by the median. So, the two different color shades of band that you see, that separates the median. So, the center line is median, and usually there will be a plus sign marking the average. Okay, let me see whether if you remove this, they have, so they don't have the average. Usually there will be a average also would be marked, okay, but obviously not here. So if the whiskers are kind of skewed on one side or the other, or if the difference between the median and the average, okay, if you have a symmetric distribution, there are two things you will see. You see the whiskers on the upper side and the lower side being about the same length or height, and then the average and the median, the plus sign and the median line, they both would be pretty close to each other, if not right on top of one another. So in that case, the distribution of data is very symmetric. To the extent these two rules are not true, the data is more and more unsymmetric, skewed to either the upper side, the larger side, or the smaller side. Okay. Now there are Tableau allows you. Okay, let me see whether. Okay, so there are some style choices that you have. So this is supposed to be the modern style. All right, so we have glass style, classic style, then classic with dual fill. So you have a choice here of whatever the kind of style that you like. So you can change the borders if you make it thicker or smaller, or change color. And whiskers again, you can change